Welcome. Thank you for joining the first ever First Time Dentist podcast, I guess you could call it, or YouTube video, where we're going to walk you through a financial model available on the website. So we're just going to navigate to FirstTimeDentist.com. Once this loads, we're going to go to the calculators drop down and take a look at the financial projection tool. We'll take a look at that one. That will pop up and you'll be able to click on this link here, which will actually download the Excel file. Go ahead and open that. Just enable editing. I don't know if that'll pop up on your version of Excel or not. So basically we have three tabs. The first one is the instructions, so that will walk you through how to work with the model, but we're going to also achieve the same thing in this quick session. So first section here, first section, you can just input your name or the name of the prospective dental practice, or just a nice label on the following page. We've got a section here for loans, so you can go in and put your loan amount and the timing and how much you're going to be paying in terms of interest or just an assumption. And then you're going to get into the revenue side. So we've got two sections here, collections and collection adjustments. The first one really looks at what the practice is that you're looking at, what they're currently producing. So they're starting collections, they're starting patients, and then it calculates what the current collections are per patient automatically, so you don't have to fill that one in. And then the next section goes through how to adjust that. So are you going to lose patients? If so, how many do you think that will be? In this case, we have a 10% loss or 90% retention of your existing patient base, which then actually grows back to 100% by year 3 and then continues growing upwards after year 3. So that's the ideal scenario, that you may lose some patients up front, but in the long term, you'll make those back and then some. Same thing with the average collections per patient for recall and then for restorative. So this is where you could adjust those upwards based on pricing. Maybe you're going to increase prices, maybe you're going to add procedures that weren't there before, etc. So you can adjust those as you see fit. Excuse me. And then the final two sections here are really your expenses. So these are more fact-based, looking at the profit and loss statement from the existing dentist to go through and identify each of these different categories, or you can go in and actually rename these categories and say that this is just repair instead of maintenance and repair, and then that'll carry through to the following page. And one quick call out on the bottom here. So when you take a look at the one-time expenses, you can actually go in here and input different things that you might be purchasing as larger purchases, capital investments, things that don't happen on a regular basis. So in this instance, we have a purchase in years 1, 2, and 3 for renovation, new equipment, new software, and then those respective amounts. So that will only show up in those years. So once you've got that filled out, you can flip over to this Financials tab, which is really a one-page summary of all the information that we just put together. You've got your nice little label up here, financial projections for XYZ Dentistry, today's date, and then you've got a cash basis income statement. Talk to your accountant if you have more questions on that, but this does not take into account some of the more tax-based items. It does get you down to a profit, though. It shows you how much profit you're earning in years 1 through 10, because it's a 10-year statement, and then how much you've cumulatively earned over those years. So if you weren't spending any of that, if you weren't taking it out, putting it in your pocket, leaving it in the business, that's how much money you would accumulate. And then finally, you have a balance sheet, which basically shows you how much money you have versus how much you owe, and then what the difference is. All of this boils down to, so those are the actual numbers. Some people like to look at the numbers, but I do like having the charts, which is why we have a nice little summary section here. You have some ratios, key ratios, and some general benchmarks that I've heard thrown out through the industry. These may be different for you, different for any person, depending on what your business model is, but something to start with. And then you've got a few quick charts here which demonstrate the different outcomes of the numbers that you inputted. So the ones I would probably call your attention to are the center chart called revenue composition. So this basically breaks down in the bar chart format what your revenue is and the two different components. So expenses, how much goes to expenses, how much is profit, and then an overlay of what the profit margin is by year. And then you've got in the lower left here a balance sheet trend, which shows how your assets and liabilities are changing over time because you're paying off loans, because you're acquiring more cash, capital, hopefully. And then this final chart in the middle here is the return on investment. So this is an IRR calculation for some of those who are familiar. But basically what it says is over these amount of years, based on how much money I invested up front in my loans or through the loans through purchasing the practice, what's my return? So you can compare this to had I taken the money and put it into the stock market, had I put it, into bonds or CDs, and sitting in the end of 2016, 40% return over 10 years is pretty good compared to what you're going to get in CDs or putting it in a money market. So definitely shows the outcome of purchasing a practice and the benefit, I should say, and all the financials associated with it. So I do appreciate you taking time to listen to this video, watch this video, and look forward to having you around more in the future as I continue to build out more and more videos and more tools on FirstTimeDentist.com. Thanks again, and have a wonderful day.